Aunt Leah was 17.
Yeah.
A prolific writer. She wrote wonderful stories, wonderful creative stories. She was great with kids. She worked on a early childhood program. She had a real gift, great creativity, always making things. And Mary was just so full of life, so full of joy. Definitely I am. I mean, she was on a theatrical play, Christmas Carol, and loved it. She did her own quote-unquote TV show with her brother, Levi, the Pink Flamingo, and always had to be the center of attention, and always bring happiness and joy to everybody, and she was a lot of fun. Always a character in the house. If you wanted something to break the monotony, she was the one who was going to do it for you. She was always that kind of person.
On May 4th, 2013, we headed out. I headed out with the three youngest children from our home in North Carolina to drive to Texas, where four of our children were going to be graduating from college, and our oldest daughter was going to be getting married a week later. And Jerry was staying at home to work for that week, and would be flying out on Friday. So when we got in Georgia, it was raining, and we came upon slowed traffic. We were in the right lane. We slowed down, and this truck driver behind us saw a truck coming on the left, going way too fast, clearly not going to be stopping in time for the slowed traffic. And he ended up hitting us and spun us around, and then hit us a second time, so that it caused us to go backwards. And underneath the truck in front of us, the Underride guard failed, and our two youngest daughters, Anna Leah was 17 and Mary was 13. They were in the back seat, and Anna Leah died instantly, and Mary a few days later from the injuries. All four of us had to be gotten out with jaws of life, and Caleb and I were taken to a hospital. It ended up being 2 hours away from Mary's hospital, and she was for quite a long time a Jane Doe until her dad was able to get there. And
I received notification of the accident via an email because she couldn't talk, nobody had
Caleb couldn't remember his
phone number.
Because
he had a concussion. He could remember my phone number, so I actually thought it was a prank email. So I had to call the hospital to find out what was going on, but they could only tell me two members of my family, Marianne and Caleb. No one knew where the girls were, and I couldn't leave until I knew who the girls were. So I spent the next, I think 5 to 6 hours on the phone with various people trying to determine what happened to the girls. And that was kind of devastating. We finally thought we knew where Mary was in Augusta. They weren't sure. And that way they recommended me to go first, was to Augusta to see if I could identify this young lady that was in the hospital in critical ICU to see what was going on. In the meantime, they had to tell me about Anna Leah being dead. That was kind of difficult. Then the police came to the door to be with me for a few moments. I obviously couldn't talk to my wife. I couldn't talk to Caleb. I didn't know any of the facts, and I had to let the rest of the family know, which was in Texas, what was going on. Know where they needed to go, what they needed to do. I had one son in Indiana. I kept directing all the kids to go to Dallas when my daughter was going to get married. I said, go there, be there until we can figure out what's happening. So that's kind of how this whole story started and went. And basically, we became members of an exclusive club that we don't want anybody else to join. I really don't want any parent to have to go to the morgue to identify their daughter or watch the daughter stay in the hospital. I mean, it's just, these things are so avoidable. There's no reason for it. They're man-made issues that man can resolve if we want to do it. We've already delivered one petition to DOT to get them to do some rulemaking. We had over 11,000 signatures. We're working on another one to change the industry and to change the perspective and the paradigm shift to Vision Zero, which is zero accidents, zero injuries type of situation, to change this whole mental, make safety first, put value on human life.
Not have cost be the determining
Determination.
factor on rules and regulations and decisions, but because how can you weigh human life against profit? But they do.
Yes.
I have a message for the truck drivers. We're not against them. We want to help them because they're between the rock and the hard place. The way the situation now is, it's economically infeasible for them to survive. They're being forced to work extensive 80-hour weeks plus, which is insane. And it's not their fault. And we're trying to help them. And for those who oppose these safety measures, I really wish they would come to one of these meetings and understand and come and talk to the parents and tell us why. I wish Congress would do that. You come and tell me why you're going to vote, the way you are in these bills.
And to put themselves in our shoes and imagine if their family
We're there.
was in their position.